Hey, welcome back to ZK MasterTech. Today we're going to continue with the repairs on the 9570R charge pump. We're pulling the gear pump stack out of this tractor here. If you watch the part one to this video, you've seen we had to remove the cab in order to even get to the pumps. So in this video, we got the cab already off and we're gonna go replace the pumps. And we're gonna tear the pumps apart and see if we can find the failure. Let's check it out. So here I had to take this giant shield off here to get to the hydraulic reservoir. And on this tractor, the hydraulic system, the transmission, and the axle is all one system, and everything has to return back to this hydraulic reservoir. So we're gonna get this hydraulic reservoir drained, and then we're gonna pull these sump screens out and just see how much metal's in there. So the sump screens don't look terrible in this thing. I mean, there's a few little tiny pieces of metal on it, but it's not like it's caked on there. But what I could see when I looked inside of this tank is the focus. It's kind of got some metallic sludge in the bottom of it. A little bit of metal flakes here and there, but it's not horrible. Could be worse. So I think we'll go ahead and stick the Metal Checker 2000 in. And we got a little bit there. So it's not horrible. I mean, we've obviously got some kind of failure like I expected, but I think we'll be able to flush this out and get the system cleaned up pretty good. I'm just glad there's not a large amount of metal and huge chunks in there. Okay, now we're gonna work on getting all this cleaned up. All right, so I got everything cleaned up as good as I can from up top. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get the lines off the bottom of these pumps, because you can't get to it. I mean, maybe we can pop this line off and get to that one right there. And then there's one more right there. And then there's one more right there and one more right there. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna take a long extension and go from the bottom and just start taking bolts out with an impact swivel and just getting all the bolts undone, and then coming out and getting all these clamps and bolts out get those hoses out of the way. And then I think I'm gonna put a strap around it right here and then take the pump bolts out, which those are gonna be fun to get out. And then take this, pry it out, and then it should pivot like this and then possibly go out this hole. I don't know, maybe, we'll see. So I'm gonna try to get all these hoses off and get the pump bolts out. Okay, so what we got here is a snap-on 1/2 inch drive extension. It's 1/2 inch here, and on the end of it, it's 3/8. And I got a 16 impact swivel on the end of that. And then another extension. And I'm gonna reach way up in here. And get onto these bolts. Like that, and impact them out. And I think I can get all of those, maybe not the far back one, but I think I can get it through that access hole. So I'm gonna take these bolts out and probably take a bath, but whatever, it's perfect. Well, I'm winning so far. I've got all of them out. I'm on the back one, and I can even get to that one clear up in there. So I win. All right, well, I got them all off. Remember that video I did where I was telling you how important impact swivels are to my job? Well, there you go. And I didn't even get any oil dripped in my face. I just don't believe it. Got a little dirt, but no oil fell down in my face. So that was awesome. There's all the bolts and clamps I had to take out. Okay, now we're gonna continue to take these top lines off, and I'm gonna use this so I don't have to bend over as far. Okay, got all the lines undone, and now I'm gonna get these pump bolts out, and I like to use these double box long gear wrench flex wrenches here. They'll get in there and I can get a whole bunch of leverage on it. I got 3 bolts out, and the last bolt I can't get to from up top, but I can squeak my wrench in there through this access hole. Okay, so this is what I do when I'm working by myself and ain't got a forklift operator. I just put the hook right above where I want to be, and then I use a chain hoist and come down, and I got a strap cinched around the pump, and what I'm going to do is just put just a little bit of pressure on it and then pry this pump out, and then hopefully there's enough weight where it will tilt forward and I can tilt it forward and bring it up out of this hole. Okay, got a little pressure on it. She goes. So that goes forward a lot. Okay. Oh, she's getting stuck. Gotcha. She needs to tilt more. She's too balanced. Hold on for a second. Now I don't have to do this with one hand and film with the other. Took my indexing bar and I hooked underneath the shaft so I can lift up on the front of the shaft. Now I'm just going to pick it up out of there. Should come now. is. Okay, so I got the pump all disassembled, starting from this plate all the way through. It's just got these big long studs here and had nuts attaching on the end. You just take the nuts off and you just slide off each individual piece. When I got to the charge pump, I noticed it's got a tooth chipped off right here. So on the front of the pump, this main shaft, so this shaft here is what goes into your pump drive, your transmission. This shaft wouldn't come out. I actually had to beat it out from the other side, and this is what I found. It's just completely gone. Look in this hole. You can see where it spun inside of that gear in there. So at least we found out what the problem was, but I really wish they would have made that bigger. So we now know why it was making that noise. That was this slipping inside of that gear, and that's why we didn't have pressure coming out of any of these pumps here, because it was spinning in the splines right there. So we'll go ahead and we got a new pump here, and we'll get that baby installed. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and replace all these O-rings on these lines, because we ain't taking a chance on those. We'll replace the O-rings on the bottom ones and the top. I'll get the forklift around here and get this new pump into position and get it installed into there with a new O-ring for right here as well. Well, here's the new pump. Got it at the right angle, or I should be able to slip that in a little easier. And back in the day, I would probably just grab this thing out of the box, throw it over my shoulder, climb up there and put this thing in by hand. But after a couple back surgeries, you start hearing your dad's voice in your head saying, you probably shouldn't do that, or just because you can doesn't mean you should, or work smarter, not harder, So I get those dad's voices in my head, and so I'm like, all right, we'll just hook the forklift back up with the chain hoist, and we'll get her up there and just winch it down into position. Well, am I close? The guys got no helpers today. think I need to go in about 7.2 inches. How does that look? Oh, that's way more better. Oh, shout out to my dad. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. I wonder what he's doing today. Probably working on some badass CNC machine. Lowered it down a little bit more with the forklift so a guy can reach up in here and grab this guy. We're in the down position. Go in your hole. Eat 'em more. Uh-oh. Be nice to me. Guy, understand. What are you hitting? We're going in. Plop. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Bolt me. Well, for Pete's sake. They made it to where the bolts won't come all the way out of the pump unless the pump is separated from the transmission a little bit, because the bolts are too long. They hit the housing of the pump. So as we're going back together, I gotta pry this pump out just a smidgy and get those bolts in. And try to get them started. Maybe. How about now? Come on. Start. Oh yeah, I got one. And I put new bolts in because I ain't fighting those little rusty suckers anymore. And they're M12 by 35. 30 might have been a better choice. All right. We're gonna try to go from the side. I finally got the bottom bolt in. I had to go around on the side through that access hole to get it started. Get the strap out of here. Get on out of here. Get this thing out of my face. Sure. All right. This bolt is way in here. Come on, little guy. Oh, would you look at that? She's going. Oh yeah. Oh. we can run these down. Click. You hear that? Yep. 67.2 foot-pounds. Click. Yep. Torqued. Let's get the Swivel Nader 9000 up in here. Get on there. Can I run it in by hand? Sure. Alright, time for the best ratchet in the world. It's my favorite ratchet. We're almost there. Click. Yep. Torqued. Alright. Now I just need to go down through that access hole and tighten that other one up, and she's in. Then the fun of putting all those lines back on. Great. Look at that gear inch for the win. One more. Click. Torqued. Hey, look, Patrick's back. He's gonna help me put these clamps on. We're gonna try to get one bolt and one clamp started, and then possibly the other side, one bolt, clamp, and then work on squeezing them together and getting the other two bolts in. Maybe, I don't know.
Probably not.
Well, Patrick got the back clamp started, but the line needs to push back towards the transmission so we can get the front side started. So I'm gonna get a bar and try to push that. So Patrick's finger game is on point today. We got the first one in. We had to pry it over with a pry bar so we could get both clamps in. But he's putting them in with one hand. And I'm down here trying to move the lines where they need to be with a pry bar. Bring it to the left side. You're too far in. You come out, go towards the front. Whoa. Maybe. Can't tell if it started or if it was spinning. Oh, it started. It started. All right, put another bolt in my socket. Alright, pull the clamp towards the other way. Pull it out. That right there. I just started that bolt and filmed at the same time. Oh yeah.
Mr. Badass over here.
I win.
I'm glad you did, because I couldn't get those sons of guns to start.
So we got all of them started, but the last one that goes to the bottom of the axle here. And it's like a ½ inch from touching that pump because the axle has bled down the cylinders, and we're gonna have to get this axle jacked back up so we can get that hose started in the clamps. Yay. All right, so I jacked the axle up and it went up just a little bit, but I still had to break this fitting all the way loose so we could get that line up in there, but we finally got it and got the clamps snugged on, and then I retightened this. So now all we got to do is go in and tighten all those bolts all the way. She's all torqued. So Patrick went into beast mode and got all the top lines started for me. Now we just got to torque all these down. She's torqued. All right, it's time to put the cap back on. Get that steering valve about here-ish. Hey. Go up. Still him go up. straight back. Maybe turn your wheels that way and go back. Easy. Slower.
I've got a bar up here I'm using. I think I got it. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Grab an impact where you can kind of just get it almost towards snug.
Yeah.
Can we hold the bar?
No.
It makes it difficult. By the time you get it level, you got too much pressure on the front of the cab. Then you can't move it. Got it?
Just inserting it in the hole. Hold on.
Back it off as soon as you hold it up. Okay, there, now try to.
A little better than I thought it was going to, honestly. I was kind of expecting a little bit worse than that.
Not really.
Alright, well, let me try this first. Well, it gets to a certain point and just doesn't want to do anything. She is not digging it, dude.
No?
It's going, but it's not.
Here, look out.
Give her the beams.
Snugged it. Wow.
That stuff in there is pretty stiff.
Yeah. Well, that came out super hard.
I know, but I would have figured it went in a lot better than that.
Well, the cab is bolted in. Now all we got to do is disconnect our hooks up there, and we'll go through and we'll actually torque each bolt, but I slammed them down with the impact, so it's good for now. Side shift right or left. now that the cab's on, the bolts are torqued, now we're going to go through and just basically work in reverse order. I'm not going to show everything because you guys watched me basically pull it all apart, but we'll do the active seat valve, the steering valve lines, the brake valve lines, all the electrical on the back, all the coolant lines, get everything all hooked up, and then we're going to fill, well, got to clean the hydraulic reservoir out real good, change the hydraulic filters, and once we get to that, then we can start cranking this thing over and try to build some charge pressure before we start it. Okay, here we got a little transfer pump, 12 volt. I just got a 5-gallon bucket of diesel, and I'm just pumping it through this tank, and it's draining into that one, and I'm sucking from that one, just kind of recycling it and just trying to get all the metal sludge from the bottom of this reservoir. All right, we're gonna fill this tank full of oil. We got the filters changed, and I got the tank all clean, so we're gonna fill it up with oil, and then we're gonna start charging these pumps up with oil. Okay, we got the injection harness unplugged, so the engine will just crank. I've got my digital pressure meter on the charge pressure port, and we're just gonna try to crank this thing and build some pressure. Probably gonna take a little bit. Let it chill for a second. Try a little more. You can feel it pumping some air. It's doing some, but it's cavitating. Of course, all them lines are full of air. Let's go again. It's mad because the injector harness is unplugged. Okay, if I can build between 10 and 15 PSI, I think we're safe to go ahead and start it. The injection harness back up. All right, bring the thunder. That's a lot better. All right, so our minimum charge pressure at 1,000 RPM is supposed to be 30 PSI, and we've got 82 PSI. That's a lot better than zero from what we had before. And surprisingly, charging those pumps by cranking the engine over and getting all the air out really helped it when it started. I didn't even hear it cavitate at all. I've got Justin, my apprentice, on the side. He's checking for leaks, and so far he said everything looks good. So for you guys to think that all we do is work on new stuff that's broke down, here you go. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. What do we got going on here, Patrick?
We are going to take the factory front end of 4020 and put a factory front end out of a 4430 in it. These guys are wanting to put a loader on, I think, and it's on a cattle farm. They want a little bit beefier front end under it to kind of support that heavy load up front.
This thing's gonna be sweet.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty nice looking 4020.
Not too bad. I've seen a lot worse.
Mint. There you go. We still work on the old stuff, guys. So now that everything is good and working properly, we're gonna go ahead and get this tractor buttoned up. We'll get all the shields put on, the floor mat in the cab. We gotta get the duals on, and then we'll be ready to drive this tractor out of the shop. So the next time you see it, it'll be drivable. All right, there she is. She is ready to go. Got the duals on, got the shields all on, got the oil level topped off. She's ready to rock. Out for a cruise. We're going to drive it around the lot for a while, and then we're going to bring it back inside and retorque all the wheel hubs and wheel bolts, make sure they're good and tight. Here's Willie. Blocking our way over there.
Not surprising. Running stout.
Gotta love 15-liter Cummins.
Yeah.
There's the combine of doom right there. That's the one we pulled out of the field. Still haven't had a chance to pull it inside and work on that. Too busy on tractors.
Combine of doom.
That's the one where the hydro failed in it, bumped metal throughout the whole system.
I remember.
All right, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I couldn't do this without all your guys' support. If you could smash that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps me out. And if you guys are interested in becoming a Sloan's technician, go ahead and check out the Sloan's apprenticeship program. I'm gonna put a link down below in the description where it'll take you to the landing page, and then you can fill out some contact information where we can get a hold of you. Until next time, keep that green iron moving, and I'll see you guys later.